Guru Ji Ki Fateh.
Satnam, my name's Rajinder Singh, and thank you for coming to me another show of Conscious Living. It's the show where we get inspirational people every week, people who try and do something for the community, who are doing something for themselves and have the skills that we can all learn from. I would just like to say, because I've just heard word last week, a lot of people went out. There's a lot of homeless people within the Heston area, and we went out on a food run. It's being run by Satinder Singh, and it's been really good. Helping Hands, I believe the organisation is, and it was really, what's the word, Sangaji? It was distressing in one sense to see people. It's so cold at the moment. As we all know, and they're living there on the streets. Okay, it was nice for the Sangha to get food, hot water. But what's really nice, I've just heard that SikhChannel. Basically, what they're doing is, they're providing them with food. I just heard accommodation as well, and so things are moving forward, and I believe a lot of Sangha out there, that's yourselves, Sangaji, are helping out. So it's just saying thank you, and we will get more information, for you to help further as well. Coming on to today's show, the tradition. I always get our fellow guests to introduce themselves. Why do I do this? Some of you ask. Simply, I think the person himself can always introduce themselves better. But just briefly, we have Nick over here. We have Phil. And Sangaji, I had to ask Sukiji to come. He's been such an inspiration. A lot of you have been asking for more information, and I asked him. And literally, I'm not joking, Sangaji, an hour ago, I was happy to meet him. I said, please, could you come on? And he kindly agreed. So thank you. Thank you so much for coming on here. I'll start with yourself, Nick. And, please, tell us a bit about yourselves. I mean, your background. I'll tell you in a moment, Sangaji, what they do, but a bit about your background, please.
Okay, me, I'm originally from Leicester, so a Midlands boy.
Midlands boys. We have a lot of people from the Midlands watching.
Yeah, that's good. I moved down to London around 2004 to work. Actually graduated in 2002, and there's a bit of a struggle, actually. I graduated during a dot-com recession, and it took me about 2 years to find a job.
So this would have been about 10 years ago?
Yeah, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
10 years ago. Sat at home in Leicester applying for jobs, rejection after rejection after rejection.
I think a lot of people can actually relate to that right now, They were talking about the housing, the job market. I think they were saying today, how I think we're at the worst ever, aren't we?
No, absolutely, yeah. Absolutely, yeah. So, yeah, it's a bit of a challenge. It must have been something like after 200 or 250 rejection letters.
Wow.
So someone gave me a chance. One person actually believed in me, gave me a chance, and that brought me to London.
Wow.
And then, from there, I started working in a marketing company. From there, I moved into working in finance, recruitment, where I met Phil. And then from there, I'm doing what I'm doing today.
Okay, well, that brings me on. Thank you for that. It's nice to have a background. Now, Phil, as I say, we were just talking about the homeless aspect, and now you were in a charity. I mean, we were just talking.
Yeah.
So you have some kind of experience in this area. I mean, what is going on? What happens in this area? And this is, you worked in a charity. So if you just tell us.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm from London originally.
Yeah.
I did a psychology degree.
Yeah.
And after doing that degree, my aim was to get a job within the field of psychology. And I started working with charities. I started to voluntarily work part-time for a helpline. And I know particularly this time of year is a tough time of year for a lot,
Yes, but it's also the emotional side as well.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Also the way the weather is.
Yes, the way the weather is. I get you. This is the time of year you get the most phone calls. I've actually worked Christmas days before, New Year's Eve, Christmas Eve.
Wow.
And that time of year, it can be. For some, it's fantastic who've got family there, but for others who don't have family or they're in a bad situation, they're in poverty, I think this time of year can make it that much worse. And I think it is important to provide have a support function for people in that situation within the UK,
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense because, what's been really heartbreaking is it's one thing, in a sense, to even see it on TV. But it's another thing, as I say, I was out there last week briefly, and I saw, you know, the way people are living, you know, on the streets, and it's like, okay, everyone has their own reason for getting there, okay, but you know, there must be something, a skill that can hopefully prevent people getting to that stage, you know, on that side, you know. And we do know Sangatji, you know, as I say, at the moment we're hearing so many repossessions, housing, and some of the, I actually heard, okay, you know, there was one guy, he was actually a qualified solicitor and is living under a bridge.
Wow.
You know, and it's like, how does someone of that qualification? There was obviously something he wasn't doing right in one aspect, you know. Sukhiji, as I say, you know, what's nice is that, in a sense, you've got an overall business strategy of understanding this, as you say, just like Phil was saying, the psychology aspect as well.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
How does this happen, and what can people, in your view, do?
Well, firstly, I'd like to thank the viewers for having me back a third time. I'm not quite sure why DAS has actually been quite popular in this environment, but I will do my most best to ensure that I can deliver all the information that required. There's been quite a good response.
Thank you for coming back.
With reference to why it's happening, there in my limited research that I've done over a very short period of time, it's been very much around many different aspects. There's also houses breaking up. There's also the financial strain that people are going through. Just recently on the BBC and stuff, there was a money program that came on, and recently they've been talking about money within couples, and even people.
I saw that.
That's right.
Yes.
Even with people with £40,000 as an income are struggling with just two offspring. That's at a time when, in economic reasons, it shouldn't be so bad because of the fact that we've actually got. Haven't actually got an official recession going on now. And we've also have the interest rates, which are pretty much at the lowest they possibly have been, like base rate being at still 0.5. Now, if going forward that raises, then we can see quite sincerely that there's going to be a tighter budget than what there is right now. And on the flip coin, to keep it all away from just being mundane, we find a lot of people who are thriving in this environment as well, where they're into the investment strategies, and they find things, vehicles, to be able to invest their money into, and allowing them to get a good return on investment as well. Now, that could be property, which allows people to have a hard, fast, a touchy-feely sort of a commodity that they can physically hold onto, traditional businesses, and also consultancy. But on the same token, these gentlemen here are bringing a brand new flavour to the marketplace, especially for the Asian market, where it could be online trading as well, which I'll leave them to talk about. But as it comes to what solution there is, we were talking about the gentleman who is a solicitor living under a bridge. Now, there could be a number of things without knowing about that particular case, but there could be a number of things that have, faculties that have affected that environment. It could have been the fact that he's lost control of a company. It could have been the fact that he's gone through a marital breakup. So that's not really for us to state he has done something wrong, because it could well be he hasn't done anything
It's a very
wrong.
good point. As I say, this is somebody up north.
Yeah, it happens quite regularly.
And it does happen. They go from, emotional breakdown and so forth.
And a solution for this is, it's quite early in the conversation to bring it up, but you asked for a solution, and the solution is that there is a very good friend and client of mine. His name is Ed Walker, and what he does, basically, he was the longest, he's an author as well, and he wrote about his experiences being the longest standing Christian missionary within war-torn Africas, not just Africa as a whole. I think about 9 or 10 years he spent of his life there. He has a brand new prospect, which I'm hoping you'll have him probably to speak here later throughout this series. As an inspirational individual, he underdoes himself, as everybody does who's in that marketplace, because the humbleness of them and the humility of their life comes out. But he has taken those learnings of seeing people at the rock bottom and come into this country and come back to England. He's a British educated man, born and bred, and he's then looked at the marketplace, from what I can understand, and said, hang on, the homeless individuals over here they have got the opportunity to get themselves back off the road, off the street. So what he's decided to do is, there has to be what's called a pyramid of, it's like a 3-point interjection in their life to basically make some change. And this is what we were talking about a bit of time ago with reference to Sober Services, one of our other companies that I'm involved with, where we deliver very sincerely a replacement to addictions is one, but a replacement to being faithless in the sense of having no inhibitions or no ambition in life. And this doesn't mean everybody on the street is ambitionless. Please don't take it that way.
I
the point is,
understand where you're
it gives a bit
coming
of a value in their life. And on the same token, they have what's called, but that will be basically a faith. For us, it will be Sikhi, and for the vast majority of the country, it could be Christianity and Islam for references, and Hinduism, Buddhism. So a faith which keeps people in order, allows them to get answers for things that they require answers for. And on the other token, a safe house, a place where they can be off the street, so a home, a house. And a third part of the string is basically a coach, a person who physically is at hand, a therapist, a mentor, who's also trained within the church's thought processes. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm very, very, firstly honoured and proud to say that Ed has actually gone down this this route of creating this pyramid of information. He's managed to convince many churches to understand his mission, and they've shared and invested, including high net worth individuals who are within the congregation, and they've invested in the property to purchase. He's had them converted into HMOs officially, and they've taken the homeless off the street and given them a home, and then given them a faith to believe in again, and a therapist, which is usually a faith-led individual who's a volunteer. For us, that seeks seva.
Because I said, seva, I mean, I know amongst, on the Sikhi side, is a very big aspect. And you go to Gurdwara at 4 o'clock in the morning, and you sleep, and you have langar, and, and they're all sevadars, they're all helping. And it's the most amazing, I think, it comes almost naturally, because we're from a very young age. And as I say, SikhChannel has helped, and I think it's really nice in terms of, they're not just looking at it from a background, oh my God, what's going on? They're actually going out there. And I know so much of the Sangat is out there helping, It's like we can't just see our fellow human beings just out there in this cold,
And on that token of seva, and how natural it really is to us, Ed's speaking, his quote, if I can share this with him, is from his book: "A man is not living unless he is loving." So that's a very lovely way of seeing that.
That's beautiful, because that goes along with how we believe as well. It's all about biyar.
That's right. And I've double-barreled that and added on another final line to that. A man is not loving unless he is not giving. So he has to be, in order to be in a love environment, you have to be giving. And that's core to our Sikhi. So back to our full integration of seva and how natural it is to us. Because if we care for somebody, we feel valued ourselves. Charity starts here at home. So I must love myself to love others.
There's this quote which I was told a long time ago, and they said, always think of rhythm. And I said, what does rhythm mean? They say, well, before you can help your fellow man, you have to raise yourself to help mankind.
Superb.
So I believe it's one of these network marketing companies, but it's a very fantastic, if you remember one thing, it's the one thing I remembered, and it really stuck with myself. And I believe it's something that both of you have done. As I say, you were saying you were in a 9-to-5 job.
Yeah.
As you 250, job applications. I think a lot of us, can relate to that.
Yeah.
What did you do?
It was a challenge. I studied in Surrey, moved back home in 2002, and I guess my expectation was I'd apply for a couple of jobs and I'd get given a job straight away.
It's how we're taught. I was talking with somebody last week. We're taught, there's not enough jobs. You have to keep filling out application forms. Perhaps it's the way where indirectly, you have to find a job.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think, being in that situation actually opened my eyes to the real world. I never thought it would be that hard to get a job. Even get an interview is the hardest thing ever. I spent it's up to 2 years just sending out CVs. I would travel down to London for interviews, but then the feedback was there's lots of guys in the market who have more experience than you. Get some experience and come back.
It's a vicious cycle.
That's true. But if no one's going to give someone an opportunity, how are they meant to get the experience? It's just yeah, it's just it's a tough time, a tough time. After I guess something like 200 or 250 rejections, it must have been one of those last ones. I applied for a job. Someone called me up. It's to do with a magazine, so helping out create a magazine. I went and met with, and this guy's name was Howard, and pretty much he believed in me. He saw, you know, I had some talent. Okay. Brought me aboard. We created a magazine from scratch. It's the two of us. We created a magazine. It's a music, fashion, lifestyle magazine. It's all we knew at that time, and we just needed something to show people that we had experience, that we could. My background was I did a degree in marketing, so to show people that I could actually create a product, I could market the product. Wow. So the two of us created a magazine. We did everything from the editorial, the interviews, the design, selling the advertising space. Just two guys.
So it was hard graft in a sense.
I think 18 hours a day. We had zero money, 18 hours a day. To a point where miracles did happen. I mean, we got this magazine actually out into shops such as W.H. Smith's, Borders, Magnus, and these are I mean, at this stage, because of the recession, some of the big brands that we were competing against, such as like Face, Dazed and Confused, or some people may remember those from that time, they were in the same sector. They went bankrupt.
Gosh.
So this homemade magazine that we created was now in the big bookshop. So that was really almost a changing a turning point in my life, bringing me to London to go work. Actually, after that point, a top marketing firm called me up and said, "So we just seen what you'd done, we just read about you in the magazine, want you to come work for us."
It was like hunting there. That's fantastic.
And there's me thinking there's no jobs there, but someone's actually called me up.
You did something, please. That's amazing. Phil, you were working in a charity.
Yep.
For 5 years, did you say?
I was working there part-time. When after university, I had a similar situation in that it was very difficult for me to get a job within the field of psychology, which I initially wanted to do. I felt the best way to get experience was to work within a charity and also to be charitable as well, to give back. I really found it a powerful experience, on a weekly basis to be helping. I progressed within the charity where I was leading a team of up to 8 people, sometimes on a shift, sometimes having to call the police, the social services, in some cases where you had a drastic issue that needed an immediate response. I worked there for quite some time. At first I was pursuing the more psychology route in terms of a job, but I found that I was really getting what I needed to get out of the charity work, that I didn't necessarily want to do it as a profession. For me, the area of business was more of interest to me. I've always had sales jobs from quite a young age. I took a year out before university to earn some money just so I could provide for myself at university.
That's really good, yes.
And from that I managed to save up, and that was all from just doing sales work, just from telesales and so on. So I found that relatively, that's a kind of tip for people as well. I found sales was very easy to get into in terms of once you had telesales experience, once you had any sort of sales experience. It can be very fast turnover though, and it's not the best of industries to be in.
You learn so much about yourself, don't you?
You do, yeah, absolutely. And I think it's Rob Kiyosaki who says one of the first things, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, right? It's very important to be able to sell yourself. Yeah. And it's one of the key things you do need to learn. So learning that fairly young was good for me, in a sense that although I couldn't get a job in anything related to my degree, it was easy for me to get a job in sales. So
no, it's good because I come from that telesales background as well. Yeah. After university, 3 hours between 5 and 8.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I was one of those annoying people.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely.
No, that's brilliant. But that gave you a solid foundation going into the business sector.
It was quite straightforward for me. Yeah, to get some experience in telecoms industries. Worked for various mobile phone companies. You get put on different campaigns within that, and then I actually, funny enough, got some opportunities from friends from university, which was just by chance really. A friend of mine joined a recruitment firm, IT recruitment firm, and he was asked if he knew anyone good and so on. So I was referred into the company, had the interview, and they took me on.
Wow, that sounds wonderful, actually. Suki, I think what's really nice is that they've both gone down the route which is the more rocky road.
Yes.
But it's the road which would potentially secure someone's future because they're making the destiny for themselves.
Absolutely. From what I can hear, beyond them being ultra inspirational people who are actually going out of the way, and you'll hear some lovely stuff of what they're up to now, it doesn't make a difference on what you're facing in life. If you're facing diversity, or if you're facing financial hardship, there is a way. And what happens is you need to find and connect with more people who are having a similar position or have gone through it. So it's kind of like a coach's job, or alternatively, you could say it's like a mentor's job. Somebody who's been there, traveled it. In every business that a person's in, there is always somebody with more experience who does that on a day-to-day basis. So this is kind of key for me. From what I can hear, the experience that these gentlemen are bringing up, both Nick and Phil, they're delivering, they've augmented it in their life, and they're delivering it further forward as well. And this is kind of the way of the world. You know, this is a part of our gift and our seva that we're delivering for everybody.
You know, what's interesting is that the politicians, the Prime Minister, they're actually seeking out and they're actually encouraging people like Nick and Phil. Now, I know you are an enterprising person in your own right.
Absolutely.
But, you know, in this aspect, because they're saying, look, we need more entrepreneurs in this country.
Absolutely.
You know, I think the country's crying out for people in this sense, because there is a job shortage. You know, what do people do? But if you've got individuals who can go out there and create jobs, and I think from the Sikhi background, we are, in a sense, traders, in the sense where we've gone to different countries. You know, you'll see a lot of Sikhs are in the business sector. It doesn't have to be business, but it's that aspect of being creative, I think, and doing something for your loved ones. Really.
And it's an honour. It's also very honourable to be trading. There is absolutely full backup in most religions, and our Sikh religion as well, to trade. You should always, there's nothing wrong with trading. You should buy a product and sell it and move it on. In this day and age right now, my suggestion, still in a very strong way, would be for people to do what you gentlemen are doing, and what I'm doing constantly all the time, is reinvent themselves. You see, don't sit on old ways. Move forward with trying to change yourself. If it means seeing and connecting yourself with new environments, do so. You see, state is a massive part of this in the mind. The environment that a person's talking to. In cause of Sikhi, the sangat, the society that we're driven in. When we go back to the original logic that I was sharing before, is that we have socialization as our third element. It's Guru Dev Mata, Guru Dev Pita, Guru Dev Swami Parameshwara. Now, Guru Dev Mata is our mum. We already touched this with spiral dynamics, how it's connected, and then pretty much they're all disguised, but because our Nanak Sahib wrote them some 500 years ago. So we have the mother being the first teacher, who's your first sangat. Then your father is somebody you model and you learn from in a different way. So somebody who's outside. Mum is kind of with you, and the father is kind of outside, even though part of you.
Yes? It's that sort of guide, really, isn't it?
Absolutely that. And then we have Gurudev Swami. Now, Swami is the school teacher. Now, the school teacher means when we go into social environments. So it's our sangat that we're very important with, which is why the Gurudwaras were originally designed, so that we could actually come and be a part of seva, be a part of the sangat, the sad sangat, which means the society as a whole. And the more inspirational people we touch and we connect with, there's a beautiful, maturity, Parameshwara only comes after you've found yourself. There's a lovely saying which is quite regularly used on the personal development industrial world, where state, if you're dreaming of seeing the world from an eagle's view, if you want to fly with the eagles, you want to see everything, you want to see what people are up to, and see how you can maneuver yourself and react quicker into marketplaces, then you need to stop hanging around with flightless birds, the turkeys. Wow,
that's beautiful.
Yeah. So if you want to fly with the eagles, stop hanging with the turkeys. It's a very lovely way of saying if your sangat is not progressing you, and I do mean this in a very literal sense, that if the people holding you back are in doom and gloom, and that's all they can see, because through doom and gloom we can see whatever we wish. In my experiences in life, and the teachings that I've run through, you will always find whatever you're looking for in life. Yeah. You will always find it. So if I'm looking for doom and gloom, guess what? I will qualify doom and gloom. Yeah. And if all of a sudden we get too infected by the media currently, where everything's doom and gloom, the reality is that people are making more money now.
Well, the thing is,
than they did then.
You sort of read the Sunday Times rich list and so forth, and they say,
and they're growing.
And you wonder, hold it a second, you've got individuals who are making more money now,
Yeah.
okay, during our potential recession, you know, what are they doing on the financial side? Perhaps that's right, that everybody else is doing wrong, you know, and you wonder. Now, both of you, as I say, you tried on the job side, you worked in a charity, but you decided to take matters in your own hand, and well, I tell you worked together as a team.
I went to go work 9 to 5. Within recruitment, and I actually sat next to Phil, and Phil was my mentor.
Wow. Okay.
I was pretty inspired by the way Phil's work ethic and the way he's working, and he's a good role model to look up to, and it's good, and it's true. It's who you hang around with, or the people you saturate yourself with, is the person you become like. It's the belief system you buy.
They say if you want to know somebody, look at their friends.
Yeah,
because that's the sort of
As soon as I changed, almost I guess. The people I was hanging around with, it's almost my whole world changed. My whole belief system, the things I wanted to do, my ambitions, a lot changed. So it's a big shift. Same with Suki. Suki's helped with my business at a very startup scale, and it's Suki's someone I very respect and look up to, and a lot's changed.
I think and as I say, I'm definitely not blowing your trumpet here, okay? But I think that feeling is mutual, not only amongst myself, but amongst so many people. Yeah. And it's that selfless, I'm just saying it. I'm not saying it because you're here. I'm just saying it is nice. It's nice to keep hearing it from different, we don't know each other in a sense, and I'm hearing this. So it's the same message coming across.
I think for me is actually going and seeking out the right mentors and the coaches. I mean, right now between us, we probably have 4 or 5 mentors and coaches for different angles. It may be mindset, it may be business, it might be marketing, it might be health and fitness. There's different areas. We have people helping us, and that's the only way we are going to get to where we want to go, by learning from people who've actually been there, done it, and teach us from the mistakes they've made. So,
wow. So what business do you do now? I heard you talking about gold and silver, and I think especially gold, amongst the Desi society, it means, a lot. I mean, basically, gold is the basis of all, where a country stands, really, doesn't it, financially?
No, absolutely. I mean,
you guys...
Yeah, I mean, me and Phil, we're the co-founders and the owners of the Gold and Silver Club of London. What we do is we teach people how to trade and invest within gold and silver to create freedom for themselves. For us, the move was from 9 to 5. We wanted to create freedom. And,
I think that's everybody does, but you're doing it in a sensible way where you're playing properly the game of the financial side.
That's right. Yeah.
So, you're not, and I mean this in the sense where you're not running away. And I don't mean this for anybody else, but in a sense, even myself, this is the system. Let's play the way the financial system is while creating your own freedom. Is that
it's correct? True. I mean, there's problems with the economy right now. I mean, everywhere you look. The money you have today, it's just going down in value. It's not going to buy you what it buys you today, tomorrow. That's the truth. And what you bought yesterday, with that same maybe £1 or £10, you're not going to get that at all tomorrow or in the future. The thing with gold. 1 gold coin, 1 ounce of gold, buys you the same amount of food, electricity, and clothing as it bought you 50 years ago, 150 years ago, 1,500 years ago.
So it's pretty stable.
Yeah, it maintains it. Yeah, it's true. Absolutely, it maintains its value over time.
Okay.
So that's a really good example. Yeah, absolutely. It has been a store of history just for 3,000-4,000 years now.
I think that's why every Indian, they know what they're doing.
Well, a really good example. Yeah, because you have the festival in India, which has been fairly recent. A really good example of this, and people instinctively tend to know that gold is real money. If you are to give a child, for example, a treasure chest, one just full of notes and dollar notes and so on, currency, and another full of gold coins, which do you think the child will go for? And naturally, the child will always gravitate towards a chest full of the gold coins. It's within our instinct that we know that gold is worth something.
Wow.
And this goes through throughout the centuries. And just, Nick's point that basically an ounce of gold would buy you a suit of clothing, for example, and food 1,000 years ago, same amount about 100 years ago, and even today.
So how much is an ounce of gold worth?
Right now,
at the moment,
today it's about, close to 16,
it's just under 1,600, $1,600 at the moment, yeah.
Really?
Wow. And at its highest point this year, it's been 1,900.
Yeah.
But that's an increase over 10 years of 560%. And it's had 11 years in a row going up now.
Really?
It's
So I should have bought gold.
carried on going up.
It's not too late. It's not too late. There's always opportunities to buy. The price is it's always going to keep moving up.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then
it was just really interesting what you were saying earlier on about the economy and the money's been lost and so on. But the money doesn't really get lost, it just gets transferred. And this is where you've got kind of in the north, what was our mentor actually saying yesterday? I think he was saying it's not a global recession. Countries like Brazil, Russia, India, China,
they're all going up.
They're going
they're
up.
Like 9.3%.
It's more North America, Europe, the UK that are more affected at the moment. But so where you have some money is going out the country, it's going somewhere else. It's just balancing out.
Is there a balancing going on?
Absolutely.
It's actually called the North Atlantic recession because countries like BRIC, which are Brazil, Russia, India, China, they're just booming. It's only North America, UK, and Europe that's in trouble. Not everywhere else in the world.
That's right.
I mean, for example, India in Mumbai, they've just launched their first gold ATM machine. China, 2 months ago, they've just launched a gold ATM machine. You go up there, you put some money in, and you buy a gold coin. You can buy a gold bar.
You
actually go to a hole in the wall, and you can get gold.
It's like a vending machine.
You know what's really interesting on that? We were actually teaching a course about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we had some people come across from China. And we were doing a talk in the room, and it was really interesting to see the differences in opinions of the Western world, which is more encompassing, Europe, UK, and America, and the East, where you've got Asia and China and so on. And in Asia and China, they actually, especially China, the government tell the people to go and buy silver, physical silver. And I was actually getting people to raise their hands in the room. Who's actually in the UK ever heard the government tell you to go and buy gold and silver? No, never. And you've got shops in China that actually go across every time they get their paycheck at the end of the month, they will invest a certain amount of their money into physical silver because they know it will preserve their wealth, and it's going to go up.
Why are we not being told this?
It's a very long conspiracy thread, I'm sure. But the reality is that what is happening now is that the information is getting out a lot easier to being with the average person like us. The gallant job that these gentlemen are doing right now in delivering the knowledge and sharing it with Joe Public, should I say, an average individual, it's very, very much needed right now.
I think so, yeah.
That information, there is an element of, in economics, there is an element of that the Western or the North Atlantic has already kind of progressed massively over the years, and what you've got is the emerging markets are still progressing. There's still civilizations going along. They're still growing in every single way. They will all hit their buffer because the money is like the current of the sea. It has to be somewhere. There is X amount of money in the environment, so it has to move around. So a lot of it's in around the Asia / the Arabic nations as well. So what we've also got to understand is that the money is shifting round. It is going back round. And the learnings that are being opened to the marketplace now through mentorship programs, lessons, courses, seminars that are expanding people's brains is the way forward. There is a massive understanding of an average person. This information should always be tooled up in schools. I'm an advocate of that. Absolutely, I'm an absolute advocate of that. So if anybody can help us get into some kind of a school as a pilot study, we're fully up for it, and explaining to people how to physically get this product into the schools, let them understand what investment really is. Because in physical things I'm talking about, we're never taught that in school.
No,
I had my schooling at home, which was an amazing, loving environment. I've never known anything else but business in the sense of trading, of understanding to buy something for this much and selling it for this much, which is simple trading. This has nothing to do with it's not pie in the sky. This is absolute tangible stuff. You can physically see, if I invest my money into a gold bar, the gold will go up or down. You know, it'll be over a long period of time. I'm sure you guys will show that it'll pass information. This information, without a doubt, needs to be pushed onto the schools.
No,
so
absolutely.
It's a core.
Wonderful.
You know, we need to get this more and more in this education.
I think in regards to trading, I think a lot of people, you know, they always say half information is dangerous.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely,
so in this new age of technology, people trade online.
Yeah.
And some people get confused. In my opinion, for example, you know, I wouldn't be happy with gambling, but trading I am very happy with. But the government has a tax-free aspect on share. Is it share trading?
No, it's a spread betting.
Spread betting,
yeah.
Yes.
Fixed odds, yeah.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people they say, okay, what is the difference? You know, would you be able to explain the difference as such?
Yeah, I can.
Yes.
That's fine. Yeah, absolutely. When you're actually spread betting, as opposed to actual trading, you're not actually taking physical stock you're not actually taking the stock for yourself. You're not buying it.
Yeah.
You're betting for it to go up or down.
Okay.
So the big advantage of that is the leverage that you get with spread betting, but you're managing your risk is less.
Okay.
So when you're spread betting,
it is a trade.
it's exactly the same. So if you're going to buy a stock of, for example, Marks and Spencers, if you're going to buy that, on every £1 that it goes up, that would be the equivalent, for example, of you going up either between 1 point or 100 points on spread betting.
Okay.
And because of that, you can make money just as easily via spread betting, and you can manage your risk better. It's tax-free. And the real beauty of spread betting is that you need a lot less money to get started, and you avoid all the broker fees that you would with trading. Typically, you're paying anywhere between £8 to £15 to buy, £8 to £15 to sell, and you pay tax on that.
But I suppose with anything, you can make money as well as lose money.
Yes.
With I guess with stocks and shares, you make money when they go up. When you use tools such as spread betting, you're making money if, let's say, an asset class, or if it's a company, a stock, if it goes up or it goes down. So it's both ways. Even if it's a sideways market as well, there are opportunities like that. There is a difference, but I guess when you were talking about there's a lot more, rich people or wealthy people in this economy, it's because they are using these kind of tools. You know, they understand.
Well, they must be doing something. You know,
Yeah.
And I think every company that you know, if you've got a job, it is actually probably being traded in some aspect. You know, the shares of a company. So you're actually dealing with the shares. What do you do as a business in terms of would you say would be your fundamental business?
Okay. What we do is we hold seminars and workshops to teach people about these opportunities within the commodities market, mainly gold and silver. We teach them how to trade and also invest. There's a difference. Trading is by using the platforms. Potentially, it could be spread betting, or then it's also investing actually into physical gold and physical silver.
I am listening to you. And in case you're wondering something, I didn't just pick up the magazine. You are actually in here, aren't you?
Yes, we are. We're in this article here.
And as I say, this is a well-known magazine. What is this magazine? I mean, what are you doing? Because it says there.
We're in an article. It's the article's called "As Good as Gold," and it's we got interviewed by Marsha Frost. She's the financial expert for Express newspaper, and she writes for International Life. She interviewed some of the leading names within the gold space on investing to find out their opinion on what people should do. So it's just creating awareness on the subject. So me and Phil, we wrote an article in terms of what we do, how we teach people to use these opportunities within this financial climate to really benefit.
So
and
is now still a really good time? You can still
absolutely
make use, because I think if you've been saying it's going for 10 years, somebody might think, I've missed the boat on this one.
I guess the main difference you've got between investing and trading, with investing, you're buying something for it to appreciate over time.
Yeah.
With trading, you can make money from a market going up or going down or sideways.
I think it's shorting.
So you can short the market. That's when you make money going down. We've got strategies that we teach. We've got a number of different strategies. Some of them are applicable to be able to make money. As recently, we've had a bit of a correction in the market, and our traders have profited from that.
Okay.
You can profit when it goes up, and because our strategies have been so successful, actually one of the guys who's only been on our course for 2 months made 26% last month.
1 month.
And we've actually he gave us a testimonial yesterday. It's on YouTube and so on. But the strategies work, and they work whether the market goes up or down. Do we believe that gold is going to go up in the long term? Absolutely. How it's going to get there, it might correct a bit more and then go sideways and then up.
But there's definitely still demand.
Certainly long time. We think there's a long way to go.
Right now, it's a buying opportunity.
Yeah,
it's like property. Everyone's saying, "I wish I got into property like when the price was back in the
mid-90s."
90s." I know, like that.
Yeah, you're looking at one of them.
It doesn't really matter where the price is. It's going to continue going up, and these are buying opportunities. This is what an entrepreneur would spot, and this is the kind of education that we are trying to give to people out there. So they can use this knowledge to really create the wealth they want, get the freedom, and help themselves, their families, and other people.
How do people get in touch? I mean, this is fascinating. We are going to put everything on our website, but how do people get in touch?
Yeah, I mean, there are two ways. I mean, probably the easiest way, if people use social media and so on, would be just go onto Facebook, and we've got Gold and Silver Club of London on there, and go onto the page. If you like the page, you'll be kept updated with all our latest events. We do webinars, and
has there been a lot of interest?
Absolutely,
we have on our Facebook page, we have over 4,000 people who are really interested in subjects, and just follow us, and we update them with videos, articles, the latest news.
Okay,
and also,
if we put a link on our webpage, then will people, can people get
absolutely. You can register. You can register on the website.
Or go to our website. That's www.thegoldandsilverclub.com, and there's a little area where people can register for a free webinar or a free seminar.
We provide workshops, one-to-one mentoring. We also do webinars and Skype training. Wow. And the most important thing is the coaching that we do and the follow-up we do. We don't just do one workshop and leave people just at it. We provide a lot of support afterwards, and that's really important. And we have a whole group and a forum of successful traders who we regularly support.
Oh, that's lovely.
And that's really important.
And you were mentioning that you also do seva with this aspect as well.
No, absolutely. Our personal goal is that we, both me and Phil already, we contribute 10% of our earnings towards charity, and we'd like people in our trading club to start doing that next year. There's charities all around the world that we would like to start to give money to, and that's what we really aspire to.
I think it's really nice. That really hits actually with the philosophy that I learned. You're raising yourself now, and then you have the opportunity to help mankind. Because as I say, right at the beginning of the show, it was heartbreaking, Sangaji, to see these homeless people out there, but it's I don't want to feel sorry for them. We want to do something for them. It's lovely SikhChannel's doing something, and we're just trying to get people who've got the skills, to get out there.
It's all about taking action. That's what a lot of people learn. That's the missing link. Once you take action, you start to do something, then you'll see the results.
That's so right.
Just in terms of credibility, I mean, I'm a full-time trader as well. I mean, we're trading for over 18 months, full-time, consistently doing in excess of 10%. And these are skills which we've learned through an organisation, and we've actually grown within that organisation and now able to teach other people.
Wow.
And what we feel is really important is that I came from a very, as you know, I'm nothing special. I came from a very average background. Literally anyone can do this. You just need the right mentors, the right strategies. And we, if I can do it, Nick can do it. We can help other people to do it. We know exactly. We're not, we weren't given kind of golden spoon. We weren't in the city learning these. We've learned these ourselves, and through organisations which teach them, and now we teach other people how to do it.
Wow, thank you. Suki, I mean, is this the way to go, in your opinion?
Without a doubt. I think it's I think everybody should be hedging their bets across many, many different portfolios of investments. So without a doubt, one of the strings of investment that is a sound way of investing currently right now, or even asset growth, is to go online and trade in spread betting. Gold and silver is a very secure way of going forward. But you do require strategy. So this is where it's very hard to understand that if you do not have a process to do something, you're not going to make it work.
I think it's important here, Sanjit, that you don't just go online and say, okay, great, I'm going to make money, because you have to be with people.
Absolutely.
It's like learning to drive a car, I think. You can't just go drive a car, you have to be...
I wanted to share something really important about the seva aspect of things as well. How we've lived our life is very different, and I want to share a little theory that we have, like a philosophy. If we tend to just point at somebody like this sort of day, most people say, yes, it's a blame finger. So you blame a finger, and then there's 3 pointing backwards to you, so you should look 3 times yourself. We have a simple finger. This particular thumb simulates God's intentions with you. So our chit, our connection to our Maharaj as well. And then the other finger that which we're pointing out to somebody is kind of like what I want to deliver. I want to do seva. I want to give £10 a week to somebody. What you must ensure is that you do not start giving before you can actually afford to live yourself. So that's not a strategy to get a good life forward. So if you're pointing if you want to give one section of your life, if you say you wanted to give £5,000 a year away into changing somebody's life, you need to look at the 3 fingers facing backwards, and these 3 fingers in accordance with our philosophy is that you should be earning 3 times as much yourself as well. So give a quarter of your income to somebody else. That way you will be able to live, and only after a sustained amount. So it's kind of like a break even. So if you require £3,000 a month to live off, then you should be earning your £3,000 first before you start donating 10% of your income. Now, the surplus, Maharaj Papaji has always taught us, Father has always taught us, that you should always be able to care for your loved ones first, which is what Bani teaches us. We should look after ourselves first. Abraham Lincoln clearly says, you cannot help the poor by becoming one yourself. So what we need to have is we need to have enough income in our own hearts and our own wealth and family that we're not longing to earn more. At that particular point, our energy given when we give our seva away of 10%, we will have far much more energy in giving that away, so far much more love in giving that away. And then that's where the love and the giving comes back in. So you should be loving when you're giving. After a period of time in your life when you've got enough, it's like a break even in business, when you've earned enough yourself, and then the surplus you should be sharing. Absolutely, we should be. There's no faith out there that tells anybody in the world, including Sikhi, that does not tell you to give from your own mouth. It teaches you to feed yourself and everybody who means something to you, and then the surplus you should do something with.
That is wonderful. No,
you should always aim to earn surplus so that you can give, so we can help more people.
Thank you for those wise words. Phil, any last words?
It's been great to be on this channel today, and absolutely that was really powerful, Sikhi, what you just said down. 100% agree. I would say that just following on from what you were saying about the mindset side of it, that a lot of trading, and Suki touched upon it, is down to psychology, probably up to 80% or more. So in some cases it is down to having a strategy, being able to follow that strategy, being able to manage your risk appropriately, have the strategies work for you, have a mentor, be able to manage your emotions. So from that point of view, that's very important, and I fully kind of endorse the helping others, and that we have been given to charity.
It's wonderful to hear that, actually, because, as I say, as you say, you're helping to build yourselves up, and then with that you can go out and
absolutely.
help mankind. That's really
and plus it's a gift. The things we know, if we can give them to someone else and they can pass them on to other people within their family, they can pass them on. It is a gift. Education is a gift.
Teaching a man to fish.
Absolutely.
No, that's wonderful.
And that boils us down to a lovely lovely Bani, the Shabad Jarasi, and my apologies for paraphrasing, Maharaj, please understand. This is Kehte Pavitr, Sunte Puneet. So basically, when we actually go to a stage of being able to teach somebody, is when we actually get 3 times the value of what when we learnt ourselves. Because to learn is actually to teach. You cannot really sincerely learn anything unless you've started to teach yourself. So by the time you've shared it with somebody else, which is what you gentlemen are doing, that's when it gets ingrained, and that's what I'm absolutely passionate about. Hence why I spend a lot of my time and effort giving back. I'm involved in a lot of social organisations, as you've just noticed, with helping with sober services, and Nick and Phil here, and obviously helping one-on-one businesses. My suggestion, just to leave it on a high note, if I can, everybody who is in some kind of a turmoil in financial terms, I would sincerely say, if you have £3,000 to £5,000, £10,000 aside, get into entrepreneurial business, get into traditional business, get into some kind of a trading platform so you can build your wealth up and consistently earn 3 to 5% per month. And that's just on the underside of things. And then get into a business as well. Put your money into property, put your money into a business of some kind, so literally buy and sell a trade. This is the way forward that we should be running for, because it's a safe fee.
Cool. No, thank you so much. We're really out of time. Sangaji, I will definitely have you guys on again, but we were just out of time. But thank you so much.
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.